From Weatherford, Oklahoma, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. It's a Thursday, but that's just how we start things each season on a Thursday night with our Midwest Sports Saturday broadcasts. I am so glad that you are here, that you're watching today, and I have to tell you, I'm just glad to be here right now. It has been days, it's been too long. Days,
way too long.
Weeks, months, years in some case. Let me just go ahead and introduce the head coach with me right now. We are at Southwestern Oklahoma State University. We're getting ready for the first Division II game of the season for the Southwestern Bulldogs. The Henderson State Reddies are here in town, a Great American Conference matchup to get things going here in 2021. I'm here with Coach Chet Pobolish in his fourth year, third season at the helm. As we know, 2020, well, that's in the books now, Coach. I mean, done, over with. We can talk about 2021.
Absolutely. And I can't tell you how excited I am for this day just to get out and coach some football in an actual game.
Man, and it's so interesting, too, because, you know, normally this time we might look back and say, well, you know, in the previous year you had a record of X and Y and you did so on and so forth. I mean, you got players out there, literally, Coach, that probably some of them haven't played ball in 3 years.
There's no doubt. We'll have quite a few, actually. You know, I looked at the roster the other day, and of the guys traveled day, I think there's around 54 that have never put on Bulldog Blue.
Wow.
And then there's a few that haven't actually, you know, a couple that haven't put on Bulldog Blue for a couple years. So just excited to watch those kids play.
Yeah, you have the freshmen, and then you have the redshirt freshmen, and you have the COVID freshmen, and some of them redshirted before COVID. And so I heard today, by the way, I was listening again. I actually heard it prior to today, but I was looking at it again. There are going to be some older folks on the field as well.
There's no doubt. And I heard Coach Maxfield mention in one of his interviews, I think they got like 7 kids that are like 24, 25 years old.
That's what I wanted to get to. 7 players on the Henderson State roster that are 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's just phenomenal.
It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about the Bulldogs with you then really quickly. And I think one of the places that we have to start and say, okay, you're going to have a new starting quarterback this season. Tell us who he is, who's going to take the field for you today to get things going.
Tanner Griffin will be our quarterback today to start. You know, he's a transfer from NEO. He's been here for a year now, again, so he's been in the system for a little bit. I'm excited to go watch him play. You know, it's at the quarterback position, it's different because they don't really get tackled and blow the whistle, you kind of protect them. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do today. And you know, I met with him this afternoon and said, you know, you're the guy, and just go have fun, go have a good time.
How did he do in camp? I know, you know, when you get to camp, actually listening back to what some of the things you were talking about prior to where we are today, it's game day here on this Thursday night, and there were 2 or 3 players that were competing for that job, among other jobs.
Yeah.
How did he look in camp?
Really good. You know, he's a special kid. He sees the field really well and different. He's extremely coachable, and there's all these coaching cues that we talk about, and he picks up on those things. And sometimes that can be dangerous because he's going to do exactly what he thinks he should do without thought, and that's what makes him special. And I try to talk to him, if you can hone in on those skills and really perfect your craft, he could do some really good things, and I'm excited about that.
Coach, I want to make good use of your time here because we are live. It is game day, and in less than 2 hours, you're going to get to lead those kids out on the field one more time. So thank you already for taking time with us here today on Midwest Sports Net. Look at the defensive side of the ball, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you other than just media day way back when, and that was cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
To get to have a media day again, what was that like here on campus?
Unbelievable. It was an unbelievable experience, not just for me, but for those kids. You know, those kids we had at media day hadn't played in a couple years, and just to have them experience that and go through that, it was awesome. So.
Well then, lead us over to the defensive side of the ball then, maybe a couple players that we might see today, some players that you're looking at to lead your team this season here in week 1.
I'd say there's 3 in particular. You know, up front it starts with probably R.J. Powell. You know, played for us as a true freshman. Now he'll be a sophomore 3 years later. And, you know, he's got a tremendous motor. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. Next is linebacker Orlando Brown. He's a fun guy to watch. I mean, he plays hard. He's fast. He's athletic. And then the back end's Darius Franklin. You know, he started as a true freshman. Now he'll be a junior now. So, you know, those 3 guys I'm excited as anybody to watch those guys play.
All right, Coach. Without any kind of predictions or anything like that, I know this is one of those things you just expect them to go and really play their hearts out. And football being the game that it is, I mean, you get 11 shots. You know, and that's what it is. So what's the mindset for them? We know that they haven't played in a while, but coming out knowing, okay, week 1's important. And this is a tough opponent.
Yeah, and we talked last night. This is one of the best teams we'll play all year. There's no doubt. And I told them, don't get it twisted. We're not going to sneak up on them. They're going to be well coached. Coach Maxfield's going to have them motivated. He's going to have them prepared. And to be honest with you, I can't think of a better way to start back into football is to go against somebody who's going to bring their best and bring the best out of us and just test us to see where we are. I'm excited. I'm excited about our opponent. I know they're going to be good. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Thank
you for taking time with us live here on Midwest Sports Saturday. And God bless you. Success to you, and just to have a great game tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
All right. That is Coach Chet Publish. You can just lay the mic down there.
Sure.
I know someone's going to pick it up here in just a moment, too. He'll take care of you. But we want you to lead well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
We're here on campus at the newly named Flex Chem Field at Milan Stadium, and it's just a privilege to get to be back out here and get to speak with you again here on Midwest Sports Saturday on the Midwest Sportsnet YouTube channel. You may be catching us tonight on the Facebook page as well, so if you are, please go over to the YouTube channel and check that out. If you have not already subscribed to Midwest Sportsnet, please do. That goes a long way for us to help the channel, and we have a couple of channels, and just the business as a whole, it goes a long way. So here we are on a Thursday, and we can talk about some other games. I've got another gentleman coming up here in just a moment to get to visit with us here, another of the great Southwestern folks here that always, and I mean always, take care of me when I visit Weatherford, and I'll just have him come on up. One of my best friends, and I mean that, one of my best friends, not only in the business, but this is somebody that I would just call, if I might be having a bad day, or call, hey, listen, I saw something cool on TV or Sports Center, and just talk about sports. But I think so highly of this guy. He is the Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations at Southwestern. That's a mouthful.
It is. It was easier when it was just Sports Information Director, wasn't it?
This is Doug Self, and he is, and you can say a lot of things. He is, I'm not exaggerating, one of the best in the business, and I really appreciate him. Doug, isn't it cool to be sitting out here right now? Well, it's pretty hot, but yeah. I mean, isn't it nice to be sitting out here?
There's nothing cool about the weather today, but everything else about the atmosphere and everything going on around campus today it's very cool, and it's long overdue. We're awful glad to be back out here.
Man, it feels good. I'm telling you what, and I this is full disclosure. I intended to bring some sunscreen today because I knew what the setup was going to be like, and I forgot to pack it. So when it's all said and done, I might be a little bit redder or darker than what I was at the start of the broadcast, but I will tell you this, it's all worth it.
It's definitely worth it. We had a little bit of cloud cover. I think we're losing as we speak, but like you said, it's all worth it to be back out here talking sports again, not hypotheticals about when something may happen. We're here. We made it through the 600 however many day break, and we're back on the football field, and there's going to be live football tonight at Flex Chem Field, and there's nothing more exciting than starting a college football season on a Thursday night on a college campus.
Oh, I know
it's pretty
it.
cool.
I know it, and starting Midwest Sports Saturday with Southwestern, that's the only way to go.
Hey,
it's the only way we've ever done it.
Yeah, it worked for us a few years ago. I think it was Coach Poblish's very first game here against Monticello, and it was an exciting game. I do remember that. And the next year, we were actually there when it started. We were down in Durant that year.
Durant for that. So,
2-0 for the Dogs on Midwest Sports Saturday on Thursday.
On Thursday. Well, we'll make it 3 straight now. So, as a matter of fact, you want to talk about, full disclosure, I will tell you that when the idea for having a Midwest Sports Saturday came around, I was actually visiting with Doug and Josh Collins, the volleyball coach here, who is away from campus. We can talk about him a little bit later behind his back or whatever. Now, anyway, we had the idea to do this and just to get to bounce it off somebody who is a great sports mind like you are, to get to come up with this. Of course, Weatherford's going to be at the top of the list.
Yeah, and Joey, that's one thing I've always respected about the work you've done is you're always looking to push the envelope and try new things and see what works and try and expand the brand for Midwest Sportsnet, which obviously my first year was OklahomaSports.net. And now now it's so much more, and it's been cool in my time to see that grow. And like when you walked in, the first thing we did is we look at the photo from opening night of the event center, and I think that was, since I was here, that was one of the first times you've been up here on campus, and I think back to a lot of those cool memories over the years. Even I saw one the other day when you came out to the soccer championship, and we got to host one of these shows there. So we're always appreciative to have you here on campus, and I think it's a testament to your work ethic, but also the friendship we've built. And I'm very thankful for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. And that's a cool picture, by the way. If you ever get a chance to see that picture in the athletic department office at Southwestern, the very first basketball games that were held here, I'm in that picture. So
Yep.
yeah, and you really don't have to look that hard to find. I mean, you'll know me when you see me. It's not that tough. Football though today,
Football,
and
yes.
you not only football, but I mentioned volleyball is on the
Yep.
road, and we can talk a little Southwestern volleyball too. Soccer also playing today. As a matter of fact, some on the road, some here in town.
Yeah, we're already got one in the books. You know, the SWASU soccer team, Coach Mark Pearson's team, went out and got a 3-1 victory today over Northeastern State. Started out, you know, they gave up the first goal of the game, but then, you know, tied it up by halftime and scored 2 in the second half to start the year off 1-0. Which, I mean, after one game, there's no better record you could have, and they'll take that record into Saturday. They'll host Central Missouri, who is a powerhouse of women's soccer around the central region. So great start for them. Volleyball's on the road. Coach Collins, like you said, you just missed him. I know they left this morning for Canyon. They'll play 4 games starting. They got a 9 a.m. first serve tomorrow morning against Texas Permian Basin, and then they'll play some other. They're mostly South Central region, you know, former regional foes. I think they play Arkansas, Fort Smith, West Texas, and St. Edwards. So challenging tournament for them, but we got to watch them at their blue and white scrimmage last week, and I think he's got one of the best teams he's had here yet.
They should be fun to watch. I'm really glad. I think the regional breakdowns or settings are back to what they were pre-COVID. A lot of regional shifts last year for the playoffs, and it was kind of interesting to try to figure out where teams were going to be going in Division II. I liked it, and I'll tell you what I liked about it is that, you know, adjustments were made to be able to make for a competitive, you know, national tournament playoff bracket in all of that, but it still felt a little weird.
I think it definitely worked out. I think they accomplished what they set out to do, but yeah, there's nothing more confusing than trying to, you know, explain to people, why are we going to Canyon for the regional when we've been, you know, like, why are we in the South Central region this year? We used to be in the South Central region, but we've been in the Central for a decade. Why are we going
back?
Yeah.
We're used to going to Missouri. We're
Yeah.
going to the Texas Panhandle now.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, it was a closer trip for us, and we got to the regional final and, you know, put a little bit of a scare into the eventual national champion. So I mean, it worked out well for us, but it was just, it's tough to try and explain that to people when they, you know, you finally get people understanding regionalization, and then you switch it all up on them. And
it is.
You know, what can you do?
It is a little bit different in D2 than it is in D1, but it's still a lot of fun. You just keep talking and let those clouds keep coming over. That's all right. We'll take that here on Midwest Sports Saturday on a Thursday. So thanks for watching tonight, this afternoon, this evening. As we're moving on, Henderson State is in town to play Southwestern here at Weatherford. Really quickly, Doug, and I know we could go over a whole lot of different games that are going on. You know, there are a number of Thursday night games in the Midwest Sportsnet Top 25 football teams, 11 games involving top 25 teams, including 2 that have top 25 matchups. But there's also the Great American Conference, which is what we were looking at just a little bit earlier. And if I can find my notes here, other games that are going on tonight within the GAC, and I know teams that you're familiar with and dealing
I've heard
with.
a few of these.
A time or two?
Yeah.
Oklahoma Baptist on the road tonight to take on Washita ranked team, and the 3-time defending champion, and we hope that the camera doesn't blow over here. A 3-time defending champion in the GAC, of course, the Henderson State game here at Southwestern, Southern Nazarene at Arkansas Monticello, Southern Arkansas at Northwestern Oklahoma, and then Southeastern Oklahoma taking on Arkansas Tech. And these Thursday night games, I mean, there's something to getting things together and getting it rolling on a Thursday night. Number one, it means you have 9 games before your second week, and I've always heard you can make some of the biggest improvements between week 1 and week 2.
Agreed, and then you have, like you said, you have those extra 2 days to make those adjustments. So yeah, I mean, I know with our guys especially, they'll get back in the lab tomorrow morning, and they'll get in and do some weightlifting, and then they'll have a day off, and it'll allow the coaches more time to review the film, find out what worked and what didn't work, and kind of get those things ready to go. But then they can get back to work on Sunday to start practicing for that next game, which for us is a trip to Southern Arkansas next Saturday. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's beneficial in a lot of ways. Like I said, there's nothing quite like the atmosphere on a college campus, you know, when you're going to class knowing there's a game that night. That's just, there's a different excitement level there than waking up on Saturday morning and like, okay, what am I going to do all day until we get around to Saturday night? So it's definitely, there's a huge level of excitement around here tonight. It's been a fun day, and hopefully it's a fun night as well.
All right. Really quickly, and I'll throw one more at you, and I know we're looking at the list here. The final game that's on the docket for the Great American Conference, since we're here in GAC country right now, we'll promote the conference as well. East Central at Harding, and I would think if there's any team that has the benefit of the schedule, let's just say it that way, it would have to be East Central,
Yeah.
and here's why. Because Harding and that offense, you know, that triple option offense that they throw out there at Harding, to have a little bit more time during the summer
Yeah.
to plan for that game alone and then plan for the rest of the season like you would, I would think that if any team benefits from
Yep.
the schedule, East Central does in that way.
I agree, and we've been the team a couple times during my tenure that we opened up the year against Harding, and we got an upset against them here one year when they were ranked, I think, in the 20s, and they ended up being a playoff team that year. But we got, you know, because that offense takes a little time to get gelling. You don't want to see them, you know, in about, you know, late October, early November, because they've really got that triple option down to you know, their science at that point. But East Central also has the benefit of they played a really tough spring schedule. They got to win at Tarleton, and you know, I know they played 2 or 3 other games. I don't know exactly how they did, but Coach Johnson's really, you know, he's really improved that team since he's been here, and I know they'll be ready to fight on tonight.
Well, indeed. I would have been disappointed. Would have been disappointed if Doug hadn't given a fight on there. So we will give the shout out then, unofficial shout out to East Central, and fight on.
But an official shout out to old Zack Saunders.
That's
I know
true.
as one of the future guests will be coming up here soon. I don't think there's any interview that could ever be complete without a shout out to old Zack Saunders. So I just want to
Okay.
get that out there.
All right. Is that his official name?
Yeah.
Is the Ole go in there? Is that-
OL apostrophe.
OL
Shout out to
apostrophe.
old Zack Saunders.
Not like Ole Miss?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. OLE.
Now, this is a fun fact. Not a lot of people know that Coach Saunders, back in his playing days, was a one-time Big 12 Player of the Week.
Wow.
Third baseman for the Kansas State University. So
I did not know that.
I will not say that 4-letter, you know, the word that they use to describe themselves, their little call. I will not do that, but I will bring attention to the greatness that you're going to be in the presence of.
Okay, well, you know what? We've been talking football here on Midwest Sports Saturday, and Doug, man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joey.
I appreciate being here. I thank you for all that you do. I know you have a lot going on. You're going to be on the radio here in just a moment, too.
I will.
And then pretty much oversee everything that happens that's not on the field. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Basically, anything up in that beautiful press box up there,
Okay,
I'll have
there we go.
oversight of. So it'll be a fun night up there.
All right. Well,
Come
good
join
luck
us.
with all that. I think I will. I think I'll come up there in a little bit and watch some football.
Thanks,
But
Joey.
let's transition
Go
then from
Dogs.
football and we'll talk a little baseball here too, and football both. I think you actually got introduced, Coach. So just go ahead and come on up here. You got officially introduced.
Joey, good to see you.
All right. Let me make sure. Is your mic still on? Mic's still on. Okay, that's all right.
Okay.
I was going to introduce you as Coach Zack Saunders, but I think the official term I've been given here is old Zack Saunders.
Yeah, I've been given that by Coach Kokenauer a few years ago when he was still here, and so he liked to give us a hard time all the time, and it was kind of a running joke. If they won the first game, he would give me a shout out on the radio, and did that a few times. So yeah, it's a running joke there in the athletic department still. So.
All right, well that's fine. Shout out then to old Zack Saunders here, and we have him live on Midwest Sports Saturday. And you know what? You have never been on one of my shows. I've had the opportunity to interview you before, visit before, write about you, talk about you. I've never had you sitting right there. So thanks for coming today.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. I was like, you know, baseball season's a long ways away, so anytime I get a chance to hang out with you, I'm jacked. So it's good.
Well, I like that. All right, now to give the official introduction then, Zack Saunders, the baseball coach here at Southwestern Oklahoma State University, and the Bulldogs baseball team. Listen, I'll just give you a chance to even promote another All-American last year, Alex Bedard, center fielder, and I think he was recognized by more than one publication too.
He was recognized by 2. Yeah, we've had some special ones the last couple of years. Obviously, the 2 Alexes, Alex Pimentel, Alex Bedard. We were lucky enough that Alex Bedard stayed on and now is one of our graduate assistants. And so we get a chance to have him here with us. And he's already meshed in. We've started practice, and he's already kind of come in there and really taken over the base running and then just the day-to-day operation of getting the guys ready to go. And I couldn't be happier to surround ourselves with, you know, good people. I think that's the goal every year.
Well, and he's shown it the quality on the field, and it's nice that he's getting to show the quality off the field for you and getting to represent there. Here in Weatherford, one of the things I've always appreciated about coming to Southwestern to watch an athletic event that's outside is the fact that, man, the wind comes sweeping down the plain here. So in advance, I will tell you, we picked this spot specifically outside. We've been indoors the last 2 times I was here for a broadcast, and I wanted to come outside this time because I know here in a little bit there'll be some activity going on behind us.
Right.
But I picked this spot because there's a little bit of a wind block. But I still want to say, just in case the camera just goes falling over.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
We are out here. So you coach a team that plays outdoor in Weatherford. Which direction do your players like the wind blowing the most? When it's blowing in or blowing out?
I think it depends on what side of the ball you're talking about too. You know, I think our pitching staff, they love it when it blows in. But man, our hitters, they love it when it blows out. And it's been blowing out quite a bit lately. And you're right, it's like even though there's a wind block, we've got the beautiful Pioneer Cellular Event Center here. But at the same time, we're still catching wind. It's a unique place for sure, especially for an outdoor sport. The weather can dictate probably more than any place I've ever been. But it's also something that I think that we try to embody, and it's funny that you brought up which one do our guys like the most. And I would say, honestly, when it's cold and nasty and it's blowing in out of the north at 30, we talk about it so much they probably get tired of listening to me, and so we tend to play pretty good in those types of conditions. We're going to figure out how we play a little bit better when it's warmer and we play on turf in Enid or Hot Springs or wherever it may be, but for sure they're in the front part of it. We definitely enjoy it here.
Now, I'll talk just one more thing baseball with you really quickly, and then I want to get your take on football tonight. Since we're here getting to watch a football game. Henderson State in town to take on Southwestern Oklahoma. We're here on Midwest Sports Saturday on a Thursday on Midwest Sports Net, and please do subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate that greatly. That having been said, you know, getting to play in Enid really is the goal, I know, for the boys, and getting to play in the postseason. Of course, the Great American Conference postseason baseball tournament has historically been in Enid, a couple of times in Arkadelphia as well at Henderson State,
right.
Interestingly enough, since they're here tonight. But talk about that. They're already looking ahead. What goes into the practices then in the fall, and is that still that motivation? Do you drop Enid every now and again for them as something to think about? That's where we want to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's no secret. That's our goal every year. You know, can we get to Enid? And I think anybody that gets there, and if you've seen our conference play at all, I mean, anybody can come out of that thing. And I think year to year you've seen it. You've seen a 1 seed, a 4 seed, a 5 seed. You've seen kind of a little bit of everybody come out of that thing. And so, yeah, that is the goal. It's to get to Enid, and whether we I think we're talking about doing some stuff in Hot Springs and then, you know, going back and forth, which I like. You know, I'm an Oklahoma guy, so I enjoy the hour and a half. My wife and kids enjoy the hour and a half when we get to go there. But it's going to be nice, I think, to have a different venue. But yeah, you do. You talk about it. You talk about, you know, where you want to be at the end of the year, and understanding that, you know, there's 7 months, 6 months at this point before we get started, and trying to find some motivation in the middle of August when it's hot and on the turf sometimes when we're out here running. Yeah, you got to kind of drop those a little bit, I think.
The boys are going to be here tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Because I know baseball teams usually find a way to help out with the football team, and I would think, why not tonight? I mean, you know, we're finally in this first Thursday in September. We're finally here for Division II. You know, there's been a lot of NAIA sports that have already taken place over the course of the last really 2 weeks.
You bet.
It's been a pleasure to cover that here on the channel, but now it's D2's turn. And to get to be a part of a game like tonight, I think they would enjoy it too. Apart from working, they're going to get to see some good football.
Yeah, without question. I think they're ready to have a normal college, I think, environment, you know, and to be out here. And yeah, we're going to have probably a dozen of them working and helping out in different ways. But, you know, they're excited. We'll have some guys out here running chains or whatever it is, and they're like, you know, they're chomping at the bit to do that. I think anything to get away from Coach, I think, for a little bit is probably something they're going to enjoy. But I think at the same time, you're right. I mean, it's of course we're excited to see football, and of course we're hoping Coach Pope gets them going and has a great night tonight. And I think even more importantly, we're just excited to, you know, everybody kept talking about a new normal. Well, tonight feels pretty normal, just, you know, just a regular old Thursday. So we're excited. We're ready to get out here. We're ready. I think our baseball team, I'm sure, will get a little bit rowdy from time to time, like we've done before. But at the same time, we're just excited to be here. Yeah, we're excited to be here. We're going to cheer on the football team, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
I'm a little old school, I think, at times. I didn't say I was old. I'm not like old Zack Saunders, but I don't know. I may be older. I think we've talked about this before. I might be a little bit older.
I think you're a fuzz older. We're about the same haircut, but we're both older.
That could be the case. I've never been a fan of new normal, and I think I'm just old school enough that I kind of like things the way they are, but I do understand change happens. Now,
you bet.
I'm realistic to know that change happens. I think that some of the right changes have happened over the course of the past 12 months.
Yep.
I think that with now a year and a half under our belts as a country, and as people in the sports world have had time to see, okay, this is how this goes. Now we're making better, more clear decisions as to how to handle things. And I'm just glad to be back. You're right; it does feel normal. It feels normal sitting here.
Yeah, it does. I'm excited. I'm like you. I don't really enjoy the new normal. I think it's just kind of what you make it. And I think not only as I talk about our team, but I think just our school in general. I think we did such a good job of just taking what came our way and making the best of the situation. And obviously, Chet and I have talked about quite a bit just what it's like to have the rug kind of grabbed out from underneath you, and what it's like, and trying to have that conversation with kids and what they're going to do and all those things. And so to see this, I'm fortunate enough to be able to teach some classes here, and so to have some of those football players in class, you can kind of see the excitement build. They care less and less what I have to say in class, and more as we get to Thursday, which is good, as it should be. And so we're all excited for them for sure.
I like that. That's funny. I taught and coached for a number of years, and I like the realism there too. There's times they're not paying attention on game day.
I do not blame them.
They're not. And you know what? That's okay. That is all right. We know the learning process is going to take place, but sometimes you give a little bit on game day, especially opening of the season. So, Coach, I know baseball is where you're hanging your hat right now. However, there's going to be a lot of good football going on tonight. Have you had a chance to see any of the practices at all? Seen this team yet?
I've seen just a little bit. Our schedules have not been very good as far as meeting up. And so, and also having a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, we've been chasing ball games. I'll actually head to one right after this for a little bit and then get back to the ball game. I've seen just glimpses. I've talked to Chet quite a bit and Coach Hennis and a few others. And so, I'm excited. I know a few of the guys they brought in just from them playing baseball as we were recruiting and doing different things like that, especially our quarterback and Tanner. And so just getting to watch those guys go, I think, is exciting. You start to really learn backstories like I talked about with teaching class. You start to learn backstories on guys, and you just can't help but root for some, and you have guys in there and you can kind of see their story play out. And I've got one in there that was injured a year ago and just kind of battled through it, and now he's finally getting to play. And one of those guys talking about, I couldn't imagine. So I heard an 1100 get dropped today on the video that Jacob Cope did, and until from their last game to now, and I can't wrap my brain around that, going 1100 days without getting to play a game that you love so much. If someone took it away from me, with it being my profession, I still don't know how. I don't think I'd know how to react at 1100 days without getting to play.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for them today.
For sure.
And I think everybody, today is one of those days you just cheer for everybody. Nobody get hurt today.
Correct.
Everybody play the whole 60 minutes, take advantage of your time and get out there. And, the rivalry is going to happen at the end of the night. There's going to be, wins and losses that are chalked. But just shoot for a good atmosphere and play some fun ball tonight all across the country.
You bet. I think that's the big thing too. Whether it's Southwestern and we just look all across the state, whether it's OSU or OU or whoever, it's getting to let those kids go back out and, have their season and get a play. And, like you said, stay injury free. They've waited this long. You just want to see them play and play well. They've worked really hard at it. I think, they'll tell you, of course, they're excited to be here and they want to enjoy the moment. But I think at the end goal, too, is they want to play well. They want to play well. They've put a lot of time in. I know Henderson's done the same. And so, both sides of this thing wants to play really well when they come out. And, not everybody's going to be happy at the end of the night, but that's sports, and that's why we do it.
That's right.
But man, I'm excited to get to watch some competition outside of baseball and get to sit back and relax a little bit and enjoy the night for sure.
All right. Coach, thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate you taking some time
Appreciate
here.
you.
I'm glad to finally get you on my show and to be a part of Midwest Sports Saturday on a Thursday here on Midwest Sports Net. So you may get a chance in the future to get to visit or get to see old Zack Saunders as we head toward baseball season, but not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Thank goodness.
Today is not that day. We'll talk a lot more football, but thank you so much, sir.
You bet. Joey,
I appreciate it.
you.
God bless you.
Thank
Digging
you.
the cap and the shades.
Hey,
too.
thanks,
You look
man. We're just
sharp.
trying to take it easy. I got to protect my head, so
That's
you're going to have to do the same.
I'm going to after this show. I will after the show.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, and we continue here on Midwest Sports Saturday on a Thursday. You know what? I know I've got one more guest coming, and you might as well come on in too, so they can see. While you're sitting down, we're going to visit with Jacob Cope here in just a second. I do want to say, look, there's a lot more football going on. Let me read this off too as you're coming up here and you're styling as you come up here. This is great. Jacob looks great. Games on tonight. D2 games tonight, Thursday night. Ferris State, our number 2 team in the Midwest Sports Net Top 25 in D2. Ferris State hosting Findlay tonight. It is Northern State at number 3, Minnesota State. Number 4, Northwest Missouri State on the road tonight to take on Fort Hays State, and that is the alma mater of one Doug Self too, so I know he's going to be cheering on the Tigers tonight. Slippery Rock, the number 5 team in the country at Wayne State tonight. It's number 8 Texas A&M Commerce at number 11 CSU Pueblo. A couple more in the top 10 as number 9 Colorado School of Mines hosting Western Oregon, and our number 10 team Ouachita Baptist hosting Oklahoma Baptist tonight, and that's in Arkadelphia. That's one of the Great American Conference games. We're here today with Jacob Cope.
How's it going, Joey?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Jacob, I'm glad you came and visited. I really am. What is your official title here? Because I've seen your work, and by the way, if you can talk about people you had a chance to see their work or see what they do with an athletic department. Very many people, I'm sure, have had a chance to see what you do here with Southwestern because he does video production, and I'm telling you, it's good. It is just flat out quality work. So what's your official title?
So that's a little bit of a complicated answer. So within
Wasn't meant to be complicated.
Well, within athletics, it is like creative video coordinator in a sense, but then I also work for all of SWOSU, like the university side as well, and then that is through private contractor through Cope Films, pretty much. So it kind of works both ways a little bit. So I do promotional content for all of the university, and then help as far as like social media content on the athletic side. So.
Cope Films.
Yes, sir.
That is pretty cool. See, I'm giving you a chance to promote. This is free advertisement tonight.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the only reason I came on. So.
I love it. That is great. We're being used here on Midwest Sports Net, so that's okay. As long as we know up front that's a part of it. Jacob, seriously, I have seen your work, and I think I may have seen one that the university's done, but the most of what I've seen has to do with the athletic department, and it really is quality work. I mean, it's not something that's just the highlights of the athletes when they're playing, but to really tell the stories that the athletes have to share, and I mean, the things I've seen there, I would say they're heartfelt.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. One that comes to mind as far as that was the year we went on our national championship run with women's basketball, and we did one titled Letter to My Freshman Self, and it was all of our seniors basically wrote a letter back to the past, and I definitely think it's something that is looked over as far as athletes can be. It's kind of one of those that at times we see them as a number, as a statistic, as a entertainment almost, but on the inside they're real people that have real struggles, and just being around them, I'm very blessed to be able to share those and just kind of get those out to our fan base and out into the world. So.
You make a very good point, and I want to stay there for just a second because I'd like to address that. It is something that I've experienced personally when the broadcast became something more than just an Oklahoma broadcast. When it reached out to Arkansas and then to Kansas, and and eventually we've gone to the Midwest and beyond now, and really have a reach that goes pretty much to both coasts with this. And it's not just, you cheer for your one team and that's it, because the players in the other color jersey, they're all human too. They all have stories too. They all have things that make them tick too. And I think when we, it's fun during the game to, cheer your heart out for your color, but for the remainder of the time to recognize and see all the work that goes into it and the heart that's put in there from all the other players and all the other schools, it's neat to get to tell their stories, and I think you do that well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's been neat, and kind of like you said, I think it's fun to cheer on the team, and obviously we'll be doing that tonight for the dogs and everything. And but definitely, like, after the fact, especially with the way COVID has changed things, just for everyone to be able to step out on the field tonight is going to be a huge opportunity and something we haven't got to do in a long time. So.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna. It'll be a neutral broadcast here. I've got a lot of Bulldogs here that are on with us tonight. I know we're going to get a chance on a later broadcast to visit with some Reddies officials as well. Shout out to Sean Jones and all the folks for Henderson State tonight too. And I know some of the players are going to be behind us here in just a moment. Matter of fact, we're getting ready here.
It's almost
time. What time is it? Where are we now?
It is 4:37.
All right, so we're less than an hour and a half away from kickoff here at the newly named Flex Chem Field here at Milan Stadium in Weatherford, Oklahoma, with Jacob Cope right now. And I would ask you this: when you're doing all of this, and from the video production side of it, pre-production's huge.
Yeah.
Pre-production takes up so much more time, I think, than what people realize that goes into it. And
Yep.
of course, there's the editing. It's just, that part in the middle where you're actually getting to either do the shoot or do the broadcast. That's the small part
Yep.
in the middle of all of it.
Yep.
What is your favorite sport to get to cover?
I would probably have to say football. Just the energy and excitement that it brings is definitely. It's hard to replicate in any other sport, even at like just this level. I think it's something that an entire community really rallies around, and it's awesome to see that. And obviously with the hard hits and just everything about it, it just makes it a ton of fun. But you mentioned pre-production, so we just got done doing basically like a 4-week part, like mini documentary over the football team that we've done the last month, and that was a huge project. That was a ton of fun to get to do, and told stories of some of our coaches, some of our players, and pre-production as far as that was huge. I think it's something that I like to pride myself on, is the work that goes on behind the scenes. The finished product is always awesome, but the real work goes in before that, and I think that can be said exactly for both teams tonight. What they've done over the last 2 years can be huge, but is going to translate into tonight. So
We're here on Midwest Sports Saturday, which, by the way, is presented by the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. And I do want to mention here in Weatherford tonight, I'm thankful for the folks of the Choctaw Nation for being a part of tonight's broadcast. In what all you have to do tonight, is there a lot? I mean, are you going to get to watch any football, or are you just going to be shooting the whole time?
No, so we'll pretty much shoot the whole time. So between me, as Coach Saunders takes my cameras.
You may not be shooting tonight.
I guess not.
You may need that for the baseball practice.
Yeah, but between me and then I have a student that helps me that does a great job named Colby, and we pretty much shoot the whole time. But for us, this is probably just as much fun as getting to play. It's what we love to do, and so we wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So.
All right. Shout out to Colby too,
Yeah.
who well, he perked up too.
Yeah, he did.
He perked up
Yep.
when you gave him the shout out there. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys have a good shoot tonight then, and I hope everything goes well. Camera, you get the shots you want, and but again, looking for a good game, and
Absolutely.
And again, just have fun tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on, Joey.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So.
Now, if you do get a chance to see any of Jacob's work, I would highly recommend it, and you can find some of them on the Southwestern Athletic website, as well as I believe there's some things you may be able to see on the Southwestern Educational, the entire school homepage too. Now, we have just a little bit more time here. I want to give a rundown. We were talking about some games that are on D2 tonight, and we should be able to have the post game as well, get to bring you up to speed with some of the scores from around the country. We will do so from here in Weatherford and bring you up to speed there. Again, don't forget tonight, Thursday games tonight. We talked about the top 10 in D2. Let's go a little bit further here. Again, A&M Commerce at number 11, CSU Pueblo. Number 13, Shepherd hosting Ohio Dominican. Number 19, Central Missouri hosting Pittsburgh State tonight. And we talked about number 22, Fort Hays State hosting Northwest Missouri. Number 23, Angelo State is on the road at Lindenwood tonight. And number 24, Carson Newman is hosting West Georgia. Talk about one other thing too here. We've been giving a lot of coverage to NAIA volleyball, and we want to continue with that as well. Let's talk about our new top 25 and some of the records too. Our number 1 team, Jamestown, 6-0. Number 2, Midland at 9-0. GPAC play got underway last night, and there were some big matches throughout the GPAC. One of the toughest conferences in all of the NAIA in volleyball, no doubt. Number 3, Park at 3-0, and all these teams are going to be seeing action over the weekend. This is another one of those big weekends for volleyball, not only in NAIA but in Division II, as a number of, we had a low-flying bug there come right through, a big dragonfly. A number of these Division II volleyball schools, I can't say all of them, but pretty close to all of them, are going to be in some kind of festival tonight. Of course, Southwestern, we talked about Josh Collins' team. They're on the road tonight in Canyon, Texas. Viterbo at 8-1. They'll be playing this weekend. Corbin, 6-0. Missouri Baptist dropped from the number 1 spot after a couple of losses last weekend, losses to Midland and to Viterbo. They're at 5-2. Number 7, Providence. The Argos are 4-0. Dort at 6-0, another GPAC team with a win last night. Marion picked up a win as well yesterday. They're at 9-0. Bellevue at 5-0. Concordia dropped a second contest last night. So the Bulldogs at number 11, they're 2-2 now during the regular season, fell to the College of St. Mary, and the Flames, with the reverse sweep in Omaha last night, came back and won the 5-set match over Concordia. And so I'll just tell you, number 24, College of St. Mary, the Flames are 8-1 on the year. Number 12, Northwestern picks up a win over Morningside last night. They moved to 4-0. Number 13, Indiana Wesleyan, 3-0. 14, Central Methodist, 4-0. Oklahoma City picked up its first win of the season on Tuesday. That's right, just has played 2 matches. Oklahoma City, the Stars, are 1-1. IU Kokomo at 3-1. Montana Tech 6-1. Bethel at 7-1 now. I believe Bethel's at 8-1 now. Actually picked up a win yesterday. Columbia College 7-0, and Coastal Georgia at number 20 at 5-0 on the year. A couple more things too with football. We mentioned the games that are being played tonight. We'll come back with our post-game wrap-up and give you some scores from those Division II games a little bit later on. I'll mention our top 5 Division II volleyball schools. At the top of the list, number 1 in the country, Nebraska Kearney. Number 2, Angelo State. Number 3, Cal State San Bernardino, the defending champions from 2019. Number 4, Hillsdale, and number 5, Tampa, rounding out our top 5 in Division II. And then football tonight, and the number 1 team in the country in the NAIA is playing tonight. There are a few NAIA Thursday night games. One of them is going to take place at Lindsey Wilson. The Blue Raiders, led by Cameron Dukes, will take to the field tonight, and they are hosting Weber International, and that is a Thursday night game. Number 2 and number 3 in the country, and I have to mention those teams as well, because I think all 3 of these teams will be back. When you're talking about national finals, national semifinals, you're going to be talking about these 3 teams specifically. Morningside's hosting Concordia tonight, and Northwestern, number 2, Northwestern hosting Hastings. Number 3, Morningside hosting Concordia. And that is a look at football prior to what is happening today. Other games throughout the country, outside the top 25, but here within the central region. We talked about the GAC games tonight. Henderson State here at Southwestern, Southern Arkansas at Northwestern, Southeastern Arkansas Tech, Southern Nazarene at Arkansas Monticello, as well as Oklahoma Baptist at Ouachita tonight. Washburn's at Lincoln, Missouri Southern at Nebraska Kearney, Missouri Western at Central Oklahoma, Central Washington traveling to Eastern New Mexico, and Texas College from the NAIA is at West Texas A&M. Another big NAIA game tonight that's involving a D2 school. This one is big. Dickinson State, a top 10 team, on the road tonight at Black Hill State, and that one should be a fun one. So we hope to be able to bring you that score a little bit later on. We'll talk about the other games tonight in our post-game wrap-up. So football about to take place here in Weatherford, Oklahoma, and I couldn't be happier. Hope that you have enjoyed this as well. Want to give a shout out to Coach Chet Pobolish, who's about to lead the Bulldogs onto the field, as well as Sports Information Director Extraordinaire Doug Self, old Zack Saunders, and Jacob Cope, among others. Want to say thank you to Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet for all that she's doing right now so that I can be out here in Weatherford. And I thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel and watch for us after the game tonight. We'll come back with some scores. Midwest Sports Saturday on a Thursday here in Weatherford. Thanks for watching.